Hello everyone, I'm the Crimson DM, and welcome back to Crimson Plays. So today we're playing Craft the World, and this, I've got to say, is one of my favorite games, period. Now, as you can see, I got a little bit of a game up there. In all honesty, I haven't played this game in such a long time that it's updated to the point where I don't recognize a lot of the features. So I played a few minutes of it and realized there was a whole lot of new content and decided, you know what, I'm going to do a Let's Play of this because I want to show off all the cool stuff this game has to offer and some of my takes on it, because I don't know what kind of genre you'd call this, but I am in love with it. So, as you see, there's a little bit of a tutorial up there, and it took me a little bit to realize I needed to skip it. Probably a lot longer than I should have. I was just exploring the world and showing it off and seeing what it had. So, you might be wondering, what's this game? And why does it look a little familiar, at least? Well, this game is about dwarves. And you're building a little settlement and building up defenses against oncoming hordes of enemies and trying to find the portal to the next world. At least, that's about as far as I understand the base concept of the game. It looks like there's a lot more added to it now, so we'll discover those kind of fun features together. And why it might look familiar is it's kind of similar to games like Oxygen Not Included, which, if you're a fan of people like Markiplier, you've seen the game before. And if you've seen this game before, good on you. Dwarves are awesome. I've actually played a little bit of Oxygen Not Included, and it was just missing that ever-present threat that you start to get from this game, as you know that there's a horde of enemies just around the corner. You'll actually see it here once my character, once my character levels up once, the timer will start. And that timer is probably the coolest part of the game, because it turns this from being just a sort of settlement builder survival thing into being a tower defense settlement builder survival thing. And there's a couple of games that are kind of like that. Another one I really liked and I'll have to try and get again is... oh, I want to say it's Kingdoms and something. But it was basically like a medieval fantasy version of The Sims. It was pretty cool. I'll see if I can find it again. So this one has a crafting section to it, which is probably why it's called Craft the World. And in all honesty, I think that's really cool. It's very similar to Minecraft, but not quite. So you won't exactly know how to build things if you've played Minecraft, but you'll have an idea. And unlike the original Minecraft, there's a recipe book here. I mean, I know Minecraft Modern has a recipe book in it, but the original one was just kind of like, figure it out yourself and hope things get along. Now, here is something that I have a little bit of a problem with. It's a little bit tedious to craft. Now, that might be my bad. I might be doing something wrong, or maybe it's part of the game, but sometimes it just feels a little slow to craft. But that's a very small concern out of what is ultimately such a good little game. Now, this is by no means a game that is very fast-paced at all. So, much like my other games, this will definitely start getting bigger videos after this one. And hopefully with the bigger videos, I'll be accomplishing some sort of task or mile marker each video, but even if I'm not, it's kind of kind of just a fun game to see what happens and how it evolves and grows and how my entire settlement will eventually probably get slaughtered. It's been long enough that I remember a couple of the base tips and tricks, but it's very difficult to survive in this. Which, in all honesty, is one of its charms. Like, oh, and one of my dwarves got into a fight with a beetle there. Yeah, your dwarves can fight. You need to equip them with items and weapons and armor and all kinds of fun stuff. And if they don't get rest from beds, they will not heal. The game I was playing to test this out, actually, had a very, very tense moment where no one could sleep in beds because I was being a bit silly. And that little face you see in the middle of the screen with the little orange dot glowing above it, that is actually the thing that lets you build a settlement. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a monument or something, but that thing decides whether your little hole in the ground can be counted as a place for your dwarves to sleep, or if it's just a hole in the ground. They basically need that to sleep there. And that's slightly annoying, but once you get it, it's really good, because then you can have your dwarves heal after they get the crap kicked out of them. Not the kick crapped out of them, because that would be weird. And backwards. We don't want weird backward poops here. Not at all. You can actually see one of my dwarves is a little stuck. And the reason why is I had to shut the hatch to keep the rain out. So I'm going to open up a portal. Now the portals are pretty cool because they let you, well, portal your little dwarves around anywhere you want on the map. It's a kind of fast and safe way to let them go out and do their dwarvy thing. And I like that. Now I'm a little curious because I don't see the timer yet. Usually the timer's supposed to start, but maybe the timer didn't start yet for some reason. But yeah, this is just a fun, charming little game. Much like Oxygen Not Included, or Dwarf Fortress, or Minecraft even. Dwarf Fortress being another game I'd like to play in the future, but I want to do something special with that, as that is probably the slowest moving game I've ever seen for progress. Like, I have never seen a game move as slow as Dwarf Fortress, except for maybe Skyscraper Simulator, which, no thanks, I'm not interested in that. So as you see, there's actually a really cool little day and night cycle. Dwarves will still go out on the surface during the night, which is ill-advised, because the dwarves are not particularly the wisest at making decisions to survive. They're kind of like Sims. A lot of my favorite games are actually a little bit like Sims. And that's kind of an interesting thing. I love The Sims. I love it to death. I played the first two Sims, and I played a lot of the first two Sims. Mostly I played the second one on console, which, I know, that's the inferior version, but oddly enough, it can oftentimes come with more items than the base Sims 2 game on PC, and it has a really fun, kind of crazy, wacky story mode. Usually people don't think about story mode and The Sims in the same context, but The Sims on console actually did story modes, and I always thought they were kind of fun because they're just filled with wacky humor and situations, and they're entertaining to say the least. especially when you see your best friend start getting hooked up with your mom in the game, and you're like, this is weird and hilarious. So, right there, I'm looking at all the items I have, and I was specifically looking for this little sign. This sign is the only thing that'll stop a goblin horde from just ransacking your base and killing your dwarves and stealing your crap, which they like to do. And they come in hordes. As far as I know, they come in hordes at complete random, and it is the worst. Because they are not easy to fight. Ooh, look. I found a random little item. I don't use the crafting book so much. Or I don't use the carpenter books and swimming books and mining books so much. I tend to use all of the cool items that'll pop up from them, though. That's actually, like, as far as I know, the best way of getting new item recipes is to just dig and kill and chop down trees and hope one pops up. It's kind of an interesting way to progress the game. And as you can see, there's actually a skeleton is attacking my base. Very slowly, very pathetically. So, because there's only one of them, I set a portal up to teleport a dwarf up there and have the dwarf take care of him. Even though I don't have any of the upgraded equipment or weapons or anything, my dwarf should be able to handle him. Or at least that was the thought process, and it looks like I was thinking correctly. Yay! It's dead. Now I can go get some more berries, which I don't think I can actually feed the dwarves yet because I don't think I have a table. Oddly enough, you need to have a table to put the food down on so the dwarves will go and eat it. And they can be picky eaters sometimes, which is just annoying, to say the least. So, I'm actually building a little architectural design thing. Like, I don't just want to have a random, terrible-looking base again. I've done that too many times, and it's always a mistake, and I hate those ghosts. I didn't talk about them earlier, but I hate those ghosts. Their entire purpose, their sole job in life, is to come to my base, get my stuff out of my stockpile, and throw it on the floor. Oh, I need some wood suddenly, and oh, it's not inside my stockpile, so the game doesn't realize I have any. Thank you, Mr. Ghost. They're the worst. Well, maybe not the worst, but darn close. Here I'm building my first pickaxe because I suddenly remembered that was a thing. And I actually build a few of those because pickaxes will do more damage than the little cobblestone knife they have. And also help them dig faster, which is imperative in this game. And all of your dwarves actually have names and jobs. Their job is like their one skill that they're really good at. And I don't know if you can manually assign dwarves to tasks easily in this game. I also don't know how important that is. Because this is not actually Dwarf Fortress. It is not overly brutal and difficult. But that will be it for the game this time. I'll come back with another episode and continue on from there. Alright, adios.